Hello, good evening, everyone. Just give me a couple seconds here before we start our live session. Okay, so. Well, it's definitely not working, so maybe we have to ask whether Lionel or Sergio to start the video. No. So I can see here. Now, okay. I think Lionel is coming now. I really don't understand. Well, Lionel.
Hi.
Hi, Lionel. So you
the
are.
technicalities over here. Well, we've been having some issues, but hopefully. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. All good. All good. We are trying to put this on the road. Let me see where I can see here, because this is weird. I saw you appear, but I can't see Sergio.
Well, he will try to join for sure. Yeah, well, the technicalities of Facebook still catching on us, and unfortunately, it's been more than common, this kind of stuff. But we've been trying to solve it. Hasn't been easy. Okay, so Sergio says he's over there.
You can see. Okay, let me see now again, Sergio. Adicionar. So Ed, I think now we're gonna do it.
Well, and I see Sergio joining. So.
Okay.
Hey.
Yay!
Sergio.
Finally,
Sergio. What you've been doing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So
the three musketeers back together.
First off, now we are live. We are all three together, and the first thing is present our presentation. So, thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Gabriel Lima from DL Tours Travel Algarve, based in southern Portugal, and we're gonna have a chat about the basics of Portugal. So the basics destinations. So we're going to talk about what is popular trend, but also we go a bit beyond with our insights, local insights. So we are having here also Sergio from EV Tours, based in Porto, an expert to Douro Valley and northern Portugal, in the whole country, in fact. So Portugal is such a small country. Actually, we know our country quite well. And well, let's start. I'm just going to ask everyone to just put your questions on the comment box. We want to create an interactive live, kind of a podcast where you can also participate. And for sure, we are here for you. So it's really important for all of us to hear what you have to say. Okay, so let's start. And well, I'm going to toss a coin. And I think let's start with northern Portugal. Sergio, are you ready?
Ready? Of course,
Let's
I can't
go.
be more ready than this. So I'll try to keep things succinct. So welcome everyone, and a new session of Unplugged Live, and especially welcome to all of the new members that we've been receiving as of late, people who are interested in discovering Portugal, not in just a regular way like we cover over here, but also we like to share more those hidden gems and hidden locations. But well, the topic for today is once again back to basics. And last week, Lionel and I and Gabriel in the comments, we all chimed in with the with the back to basics of how to plan a trip over here in Portugal, some tips regarding how to travel, where to base yourself, and the things, well, not the things that you should see, but more practical stuff like how to withdraw money, SIM cards, all of that cool stuff that you need to take care of the gear. So today we're actually going to focus a little bit more on the destinations themselves. And obviously being a guy from Porto, I'm going to focus a little bit in the northern area. And obviously as soon as we well, I have to say, the three of us, between the three of us, we're each going to cover an area. So if you come to the north of Portugal, well, chances are that you're going to end up in Porto. And so there's a couple of places where you can stay. Last week or nearly 2 weeks ago, I actually shared a post about some of the locations, some of the hotels that are top picks for accommodations in Porto. But basically, just to sum it up, if you are looking at staying in Porto, just stay near the Aliados area and Ribeira area. So that little axis over there, which is Aliados, that's the city hall, and Ribeira, that's the waterfront down by the river. We're talking something like half a mile, maybe 1 kilometer distance at most. And that's basically where you should aim to be located in Porto, because that's where the vast majority of the attractions of the city are located. You go basically half a mile to the east or half a mile to the west, and I would say that 90% of the highlights of Porto are within that area. So this is one of the places where you should consider booking accommodations. And as for the highlights of the city, well, my second article about what to do in Porto, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You have all of the basic stuff over there, like the Clérigos Tower, the churches of Carmelitas. You have Santo Ildefonso near the train station of São Bento, and São Bento itself is also one of the highlights of the city. Santa Catarina Street, you go up to the Bulhão Market, and then you're going to be very close to Praça dos Palveiros as well. A very cool place for some restaurants over there, particularly if you're looking to eat the traditional things of Porto, like the bifana at Conga. Then you also have Santos de Pernil at Casa Guedes. Nearby you have Brasão near the Colosseum, which is one of the spectacle venues, concert halls of Porto you have over there for the Francesinha, and plenty of other things. So this is basically it. Porto in a nutshell. It's very walkable. Usually I tell people that just be aware of one thing. No matter where you go in Porto, you're going to go up and down. But the thing is, Porto always feels like you're always going uphill. So it's like you're just walking one massive hill, basically. So this is basically the highlight of Porto. And you can cover all of this, especially if you don't go inside the churches, the monuments and whatnot, if you just wander around the city and take a few pictures. This is something very easy to do in something like 4 hours or so. If you toss in a lunch, give it 5 hours, and you should be golden for this. But I would say if you want to discover a little bit more of Porto, well, my hidden gems, they actually lie a little bit outside of this area of the city. Like, for example, cross over to the Gaia side, take the Louis the First Bridge, and go to the World of Wine. And I know that I'm talking about wine. That's the name of the place, World of Wine. But well, there's the Cork Museum and there's the Chocolate Museum over there, which are two very big attractions, two very important things to see. And it's not just about the wine. You also have the wine cellars, all of the Porto wine that is stored over there. You have the monastery of Serra do Pilar, fantastic viewpoint, amazing place for a sunset as well. But another great place for sunset is also the viewpoint over the Rábida Bridge from the gardens of the Crystal Palace. And then there is also, well, venture out a little bit more, but this time coming back to the northern bank of the Douro River, we do have an aquarium in Porto. Well, technically we do have two, but one of them is open to the public, which is the Sea Life. Fantastic program to do with kids. You have the Matosinhos area for beach for people who are coming during the summer. Go north a little bit more and you go to Lessa da Palmeira, and you have over there the tidal pool, Piscina das Marés. Fantastic architecture, designed by Pritzker Prize Award winner Cisa Vieira. So it's right by the beach where the structure itself mingles with the rocks. So coming to during the summer, this might be a good option for you as well. The promenade over there is also amazing, fantastic seafood restaurants. So these are some of the highlights of the city itself. As for other things, well, what can you do outside of Porto? And this is where we have the day trips coming in. For the day trips of Porto, well, let's break it into sections. I'll talk about the day trips later. I want to hear you guys first about what to do in your areas and the big cities of your areas. So I'm going to toss it to Lionel now to talk a little bit more about Lisbon and the surrounding area. So, Lionel, up to you.
Well, thank you, Sergio, and good evening, everyone. I'm Lionel Rodrigues from Desirable Portugal Tours, based near Lisbon. Although I cover quite a lot throughout the country, well, I'm around the biggest city of Portugal, and of course, it has a lot to see and a lot to do, from the most mainstream to lesser known places. But first things first. One of the things that I wrote in a recent article here at Portugal Unplugged, and it has to do with accommodation. A lot of people try to book accommodation in the historical districts because, oh, it's cool to stay inside a historical district like Alfama, Castelo, Bairro Alto, and so on. Well, the tip I want to leave over here, it's beware of the traffic restrictions, beware, because those places are not easy to access. If you're renting a car, forget it, because most likely you will have hard time to park or even to get in. I've seen already a few times in the past people just destroying the car, hitting the barrier that blocks the entrance to the historical district. And then no one wants to be dragging luggage up and down those cobblestone streets, dragging the bags, trying to access a B&B that is quite hard to reach. So my best advice to stay in Lisbon, it's really around Avenida da Liberdade, around Restauradores. I like a lot the lower section of Avenida da Liberdade and Restauradores because you have easy access to vehicles to load, unload. There is a parking lot, well, not the cheapest one, but you have parking lots nearby in case you want to drop the car, and you are just 5-minute walk from the real downtown, and 5-10 minute walk to some of the historical districts, so it's not so hard to reach to those places, and it's very central, and it has a metro line, so there's great hotels over there, and in fact that's what I've been recommending. Now about stuff to do in Lisbon, and this is where things can go quite fast. Most people try to cover the main highlights. The Belém Tower, Torre de Belém, of course, it's a very important landmark of Lisbon. In my personal opinion, it's not the place that it's worth to stay in line to go inside. Now it has been under renovation, but when it reopens, let's see how it will become. Because, in fact, you need to see it from the outside, get some pictures, and then move on. Then, the Jerónimos Monastery. I have some, particular feelings about that. Why? A lot of people travel the country beyond Lisbon, and we have very unique monasteries across the country that sometimes will give you a quieter and quainter experience. Okay, imagine going to Alcobaça, to Batalha, even to the Santa Cruz Monastery in Coimbra, all that. Those places are quite unique to visit, and they are way quieter than the Jerónimos Monastery. So people sometimes stay 2 or 3 hours in line to get in, when they can have, I would not say the exact same experience, but a very similar experience regarding the place and the architecture. In some of them, even nicer. Okay, you have some really hidden gems across the country, so it's not so worth to stay waiting in line to get in. But this is my opinion, as I've been there hundreds of times. But speaking of visiting a monastery in Lisbon, you can go to São Vicente de Fora, that is right next to Alfama. The cloisters are amazing, the sacristy is amazing, and it's normally a place that very few people go to visit. So if you want to visit this kind of places, there is a good alternative in Lisbon. Then museums, we have plenty. And it depends a lot on what people like or prefer or search for. There are a couple of them. Well, the Tiles Museum in Lisbon's been under renovation, but it's a very unique one that deserves a visit when it reopens. The Maritime Museum, right next to the Jerónimos Monastery, it's quite distinct. And then you have others, okay, from ancient art, from modern art, from well, the Royal Crown Jewel Treasure Museum, that it's quite unique, and that one, it's attached to a royal palace that very few people visit in Lisbon. Palácio Nacional da Ajuda, it's an immense, well, a masterpiece of architecture and luxury. Royal palace right in the city of Lisbon. In fact, the original plan was much bigger. They ended up not finishing it. But people just flood Sintra to expect to see royal palaces, and most people don't have, well, the idea that there is a royal palace in Lisbon that can be visited. Well, technically there's more than one, but I'm just speaking about Palácio Nacional da Ajuda as something that is really worth to visit. So this is a bit of a, well, I would not say a hidden gem, because a lot of people know about it, but it's in fact a great alternative for people that want to avoid the massive crowds in certain places. And well, there's a lot more. Okay, so if you really browse the map of the city, you will find very, very unique places. Well, churches and religious monuments, there's more than 100 in the city, and each one is different. Each one with unique art pieces. I'm remembering by example, another one that is really cool. That is Igreja de São Roque, with a religious art museum next to it as well. And these are really, well, cool spots to visit on the city. And then you have the viewpoints. And the viewpoints, we go once again with the main ones, and then some not so known ones, okay? By example, a lot of people go to Senhora do Monte, a lot of people go to Portas do Sol. Well, nothing wrong with them. Santa Luzia, it's right next to Portas do Sol, and it's a really cool place, sometimes a little bit quieter than Portas do Sol. Mirador da Graça, sometimes it's a little bit quieter than Senhora do Monte, and it's a very similar kind of view. Then you can come to Santa Catarina, that also has an amazing viewpoint over the river. But then, by example, if you want to really see a cool view of the city, get into the castle neighborhood, and you have a Igreja do Castelo, the church of the castle neighborhood. So right inside the castle neighborhood, you can pay a ticket and you walk to the top of the bell tower. In fact, you can go to, well, really touch the bell of the church, and you have an amazing view from there, and pretty much no one goes there to see the views. So these are really the places that sometimes are just around the corner, and people end up missing a lot because they just don't know about it. Meanwhile, I'm gonna, well, throw the ball towards Gabriel. I see there are some comments over here, so I'm gonna read the comments, and well, I will get back to them in a minute. Okay, Gabriel?
Yes,
what do you have to share with us?
Well, before I share a bit about southern Portugal, the Algarve, actually I already read here some comments, and some I can even respond very easily. Well, good evening, Rod. So you are asking us if we have many Canadians around here. Well, let me tell you that where I'm living here, based in Albufeira, this is almost like Vancouver nowadays, so to speak. Just kidding, but yes, we have many Canadians staying here for long stays, a month, 2 months, even up to 90 days. Funny fact, I'm about to announce, I'm just, I need to check the forecast, and I just about to announce a free walking tour right here in Albufeira. It's something that I like to do every year in January, because that's when I have more availability, and I have already loads of Canadians who are gonna join me. So yes, in the Algarve, you will find many Canadians who are staying here for long stays. Monica, Dorota, and so many others. Okay, if you want, then later I can put you in touch with some of those fellow Canadians, and then you can try to reach the community, let's say. Also, let me see. Well, Cindy, about hiring a boat to take it out also. So, well, we need to check this. So we'll be back to you after we finish this, because I know lots of companies here, and like I do every time, I never suggest things to people without building a rapport first. So I would need to know something more about you, exactly where you're gonna stay, and those kind of things. Okay. So no worries, because I'll be back to you maybe tomorrow. Okay, because it's already late night here, and for sure we're gonna help you with this. Sabrina. So then, Lionel, you're gonna answer Sabrina, and also Mirjam. Sorry, I don't know if I'm spelling your name quite well. Where should we go for Fado? Well, I can sing quite well. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. I think you are staying here in the Algarve, and there are a few good spots in Lagos, also here, right here in Albufeira, Memorias Restaurant, and as well as in Faro, okay? So I'm gonna try to find some spots, and then I'm gonna post for you, okay? Well, we have a few more questions here. Well, and this is what we like. So Lisa, best local feeling town on Portugal region. One town or several 4 or 5 nights. I'll be back to you with these two, because the best is always a bold statement. What is the best? And now I'm going to start introducing a bit of the Algarve. The Algarve, we have here 16 municipalities in 11 towns in very nice villages, both whether on the seaside and also inland. The best local feeling, I mean, this is relative, because people, they feel better almost everywhere. I would say maybe I'm a bit biased because I'm more from the Eastern Algarve. I'm a native to Faro, and I would say definitely Faro, Lolé, Olhão, Vila Real de Santo Antonio, right on the border with Spain, or even here in the western part, let's say Silves, and then the villages of Monchique, Vila do Bispo. There are many, many beautiful spots who are not, let's say, so touristy. But make no mistake, even in places like Lagos or right here in Albufeira, it's not impossible to find local vibes, local restaurants, local fado music events. I mean, it's all about local knowledge. That's why you've been doing so well for joining us, because this is exactly what we do here on Portugal Unplugged. We provide tips from locals, but I'll be back to you, okay? Because, guys, I think you understand that we can't just answer everything right here. We can't build itineraries or give you all the suggestions you need, but trust us, because we will be back to you. I think we have here more. James. Okay, James, I'm gonna let this for Lionel to answer, okay? Or yeah, I can answer too, but I'll be back to you. I'm just going to introduce a bit now, let's say a bit of the Algarve from the perspective of, a basic perspective. What is this basic or popular? Well, are the things that comes to our mind the first time we Google, the first time we check, the first time we post something, people, they start talking about what in the Algarve. And recently, this is happening a lot. People, they start talking about Lagos, Ponta da Piedade, Camilo Beach, Farragudo, beautiful village, Algar Seco rock formation, the really hyped Seven Hanging Valleys, the trail, the hiking trail, the Benagil Cave for sure, the beautiful Ria Formosa, Albufeira, Galé, Falésia Beach. Falésia literally means cliff. Falésia in 2024, it was ranked the #1 beach in the world by TripAdvisor for many reasons, not just the beauty, for many reasons. So the Algarve, it's really big, wide, and I'm pretty sure that people, they can find hidden gems, they can find highlights, they can find good things to do everywhere. Like I said at the beginning of this intervention, I mean, it's something that I would like to use another word, but I don't like the bold statement when we say the best, because the best is relative. The best for me could be jumping from cliffs. It's quite popular here. People, they are jumping from cliffs to the ocean. And for some other people, it's just yoga. So it's totally different activities. Which one is the best? Right? It's relative. Okay, so here in the Algarve, for the first time visitors, for short stays, you know, I would say central or if people they want to visit Lagos, it's a very nice base also to reach then the west coast. Sagres, Salema, Burgao, Praia da Luz, they are amazing. Alvor, I mean, the Algarve, it's absolutely amazing. When I say short stays, it's because I don't know if you know, most people they know I'm a travel agent, I'm a local planner, a tour guide, and we are very aware about the time we spend traveling. So what happens many times is people when they come for one day, yes, trust me, some people they come here for just one day, 2 days, 3 days, and then I see them they gonna stay in some places a bit away from the highlights. And why? Because they just heard something so they're going to stay here because they heard it's the best place. Well, it ended up not being the best place for them because they want to do something different. And I'm going to give you just a small example. It was maybe late November, so not even 2 months ago. I got two ladies. They arrived from, I think, from the United States. And then we went from the airport, Lisbon airport, through Evra. We stopped there. And then I went to Lagos and they stayed there in Lagos. One night in November, in a very popular, in a beautiful hotel by a beautiful beach, one of my favorite beaches in Lagos, Porto de Mós, and they stayed at Belmar. Belmar is quite popular, keep popping up all time. They stayed there one night, and then they asked me, Gabriel, is this far from the old town? And then I said, well, it's a bit far. Maybe you have to call a Uber. So in summer, people, they like to walk. It's warm. I don't know, it's about 45 minutes. So maybe you have to call a Uber. So they realized they were a bit away from the old town. And then they told me, Gabriel, tomorrow we go for a boat trip to Benagil. And then I said, so you are staying here 24 hours? You want to see Benagil and you ended up staying in Lagos? It doesn't make sense to me. Why? Because they are driving back and forth. So they are not improving their very limited time. And then on the way back from the boat trip, they went for a walking tour in Lagos. I don't know, maybe free walking tour. And then they went for a horse riding. All of this in just 24 hours because then about 5 or so, they took the bus back to Lisbon. So just think, in just 24 hours, I think it's not the best idea to stay at the very far end of the Algarve. So if they want to visit the Benagil, they should just go straight to Benagil. But this is just a small example. We would spend like 2 hours talking about this here. So this is just a few examples. We are quite happy for you to participate here with us. And well, I'm just going to throw the ball to Lionel. You want to answer here some questions? Or Sergio, maybe?
Well, I just replied here on the comments. So if you want to send back to Sergio, it's going to add, well, a few more things. And then we keep going.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
exactly. So, yeah.
So I'm just gonna chime in with a couple of day trips, and I'm not gonna go too heavy on this because I have lined up a series of articles that I'll be preparing for the next couple of days slash weeks, even to talk a little bit about the Douro Valley in particular. But yeah, from Porto, there's plenty of things to do. So today we've been talking and sharing a little bit of what I've very fondly called some 3, nearly 4 years ago, what we call Portugal for Beginners, with some of the, let's call it unplugged highlights of ours, basically just personal choices that we have, things that we enjoy and things that we think other people might enjoy. So I've been sharing a little bit of this here and there. For example, a very popular day trips out of Porto. We have Braga and Guimarães. Some people say that they definitely deserve more than a day trip to do both cities sometimes, so one day per city, if not even more. If you can allocate more time to discover each city, it's well deserved. I even shared my unplugged alternatives to Braga and Guimarães. I've talked about it was Viana do Castelo and also Ponte de Lima, very beautiful locations. And even beyond that, you have Arcos de Valdevez. You have Barcelos, also beautiful market on Thursdays over there, which is absolutely amazing as well, largest market in the country. And so, yeah, there's a couple of things that you can do. This is basically driving north. And I could spend the next hour or so over here talking about other destinations. I really enjoy Caminha for its peaceful vibes, Valença with the medieval fortress over there. If you want to go to the extreme north of Portugal, you have to go to the border marker #1, which very few people know about it. Lionel is nodding over there already because he knows that I'm going to talk about Seville, which is very cool location over
I
there.
remember being there when there was no bridge, no walkway, no boardwalk to reach the marker #1. So
Yep.
I still remember all the scratches on the vegetation. Yes, go
Yeah,
on.
but that's basically the one of the highlights, one of those unplugged highlights. It's a stone marker over there, but it's historical for us Portuguese because it's the border marker #1. If you head south, you can hit destinations like, for example, Aveiro and Costa Nova, a very beautiful destination. A very often overlooked thing and museum near Aveiro is the Porcelain Museum, the Vista Alegre Museum. Very beautiful location. Not a whole lot of people talk or know about this. If you venture even a little bit further south, you have Coimbra, and I will draw the line basically over there in Fatima, which is what I assume is realistic to do based off of Porto. Any further south than Fatima, I would say you're better off doing it out of Lisbon. If you go inland, you have places like, well, obviously the Douro Valley. What I'm preparing is not going to be a guide to tell you how you should do the Douro Valley, but more teaching you what makes a Douro Valley special, and go from there to discover what are your preferences about how you should approach the Douro Valley regarding the wines that you have available over there. Also regarding, if you don't like wine, there's also the possibility to do cultural tours. If you like prehistoric art, rock art. There's also that. There's also Jewish history at the Douro Valley. There's a plethora of things, and a lot of people mistakenly think that the Douro Valley is just about wine. Obviously, I'm going to debut my articles from that angle, but you're going to see that over the next 3, 4 articles that I'll be writing and post about the Douro Valley, you're going to see that there's quite a bit more that definitely warrants that the Douro Valley should be done as a couple of days at the very least, not just as a day trip out of Porto. And then, well, if we're talking wine tourism, go to the north, Vinho Verde, go to the south, you have Bairrada, go a little bit more inland, you have the Dão, and very few people have taken this my word for it, but the ones that do, they end up telling me that they actually ended up preferring the Dun wines, which is the mountain wine region of Portugal, over the wines that they have tried at the Douro Valley. So, and you have places like Viseu over there. Just the other day, I went to the Douro Valley to a vineyard that is partners with another one at the Dun wine region, and I was gifted a bottle from the Dun wine region. And even they recognize that the winery that I enjoy going to in the Down is one of the 4 picks that they have, that they assume that are among the 4 best wineries at the Down wine region. So there's lots of things to do. And then I'm not even talking to go even further inland because, well, that's when we start going to, well, opposed to what I call Portugal for beginners, we start having advanced Portugal. But that's going to be another topic for another live session. So these are some of the ideas that you can explore, read a little bit more, wait for some of the articles that and posts that we will be posting on the travel group. And so I'm going to throw the ball to Lionel, and well, we're going to do just a couple more locations, and then maybe Gabriel can answer a couple of questions from Sabrina over
Yes,
here as well.
yes, we're gonna try our best. And Lionel, sorry, before just just before you and before I forget, we kindly ask everyone. First of all, we are so grateful for you to be here and for your questions, but we're gonna suggest you something. One, with these questions, because we can't answer everything right here. This is usually just 30 minutes chat where we can just explain something about the country, answer a few questions, but we can't build itineraries here and we can't help you at full right here. So please post on our group, post your questions, and then we're gonna answer when we have availability, and maybe some other people, they will answer you too. Another thing, if you see something interesting here, an article, Like, for instance, a week ago, Sergio wrote a very beautiful article about Porto. It became viral with 90,000 visualization, lots of sharings. So you can share. This is a public group too, okay? So now, Lionel, please go ahead, and sorry.
No, no worries. Well, let's go about Lisbon and the surroundings. And it's curious, and I'm picking up about what Sergio just said. People need sometimes to draw a line on what is feasible, what is doable from a certain base or not. And speaking about the logistics, I see people that visit Portugal or, well, whatever place, and they have one or two goals that they establish. We really want to see this, we really want to see that, but they end up booking accommodations too far away. I recommend very often that people start drawing their itineraries backwards. First, decide what you really want to do, and then book the accommodation accordingly. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. I'm well, I already booked for a music festival in the summer, and I tried to book a hotel that as close as possible, so I don't need to drive to the music festival. I pretty much just walk across the street. Costs me more, but convenience, okay, it's totally worth it. So sometimes people need to think on this. So imagine this. You want to visit, by example, well, Sergio mentioned Fatima, and it's feasible from Porto. Yes, but it's some good an hour and 45 drive each way. Okay, it is doable, but people need always to calculate this type of cost, this type of the time that they spend, and what can be done or not. So technically for us, what is doable from Lisbon and finishes pretty close to that. I would say that going to Tomar from Lisbon, going to Fatima, it's very common, going to Nazaré, Batalha, Alcobaça and such, it's pretty much the line that I would draw on places that you can visit from Lisbon. But doing day trips from Lisbon, it's not only about these popular places, and I already mentioned a few. You have a few others, and that are totally off the chart, that are totally distinct from what normally comes on the list. And by example, one of them I was live earlier today. It's Mafra. Mafra, it's a 40-minute stops drive from Lisbon. Has one of the most unique royal palaces. What is considered the second most beautiful library we have in the country, and one of the most beautiful libraries in the world. Of course, well, Coimbra University Library, it's very unique, but the one from Mafra, it's not far behind that, because the same king that commissioned the construction of one commissioned the construction of the other one. And then you can come to the farmers market near where I live, near Mafra. It's every Thursday. You pretty much just see locals, and it's really a very immersive experience. You can go to Ericeira instead of going, by example, to Cascais. You can go to Ericeira. Of course, it's a popular place. It has a lot of foreign people living around and a lot of people visiting already, but it has a different vibe, and in my opinion, it's more authentic. But then you have, plenty of other stuff. You can go south of Lisbon, and if you want to visit a nice beach town, you can visit Sesimbra. If you want to visit natural beauties, visit the Arrábida Mountain, the Arrábida Natural Park. If you want to see history, or if you want to see historical monuments, you don't need to go just to the Moorish castle in Sintra. You can go to Sesimbra Castle, you can go to Palmela Castle, and so on. And these are alternatives that, in fact, we have. And I'm not really touching on the most popular tour that everybody does from Lisbon, that is Sintra, because I've been reading comments, I've been reading posts of people thinking that, oh, I visited Sintra, half a day was enough because we like the colors of it, and that's it. So a lot of people think that Sintra, it's the only, the Pena Palace, it's the only thing to see over there, the red and yellow palace. People think that's Sintra. They only know Sintra because of the pictures they see online of the red and yellow building. Well, I have a series of videos on my YouTube channel, on Desirable Portugal channel, And in fact, I managed to do in one day 6 monuments, not that I would recommend to do. And I didn't cover everything around Sintra. So to visit Sintra, you need 2 or 3 days to visit it accordingly. And that, yes, it makes sense to stay over there. Stay in the town, book accommodation to stay in the town. If you really want to immerse and to know about the place, stay over there and feel it. And this goes once again to something that I've been, I would say, preaching a lot, that is optimization of the itineraries. Instead of going back and forth, by example, if you want to visit Sintra in 2 days, doesn't make sense to stay in Lisbon and then do trips from Lisbon to Sintra every day. But this happens a bit everywhere. People end up spending so much time traveling to a certain destination that it would be probably more worth it to stay there 2 nights and have a whole full day to visit the place and to enjoy the place. Then, well, hidden gems that we have not far from Lisbon. I'm just going to throw 2 names that are, one is 1 hour away, one is an hour and a half. It's 2 cities, okay? Santarém and Leiria. These 2 places can be a very interesting escape from the mainstream stuff. Technically, it's possible to go easily from Lisbon by bus, by train, so-so. And these are 2 cities with a totally different vibe. So if you want to go out of the mainstream, these are 2 options that I truly recommend that people explore a little bit. And like Sergio, I could be here speaking for hours about different destinations. But we will have more lives coming on every Monday. We are here. So now it's time just to get your final thoughts, Gabriel, about the Algarve, and I'm going to check the comments as well.
Yeah, well, we are going with 40 minutes, so we started a bit later. But, well, we are very glad to have so many people here. I'm just going to answer a few questions here quite fast because I've been reading in different screens. Rod, well, thank you for your participation. And Sabrina too, and Mirjam, and also James Westies. I think I'm spelling correctly. Please use your questions and just post. Make your posts because then people, they have time to answer your questions. Also, please be aware that we can't just build here everything you need. We can't. We love to share our time. We love to chat with people. We love to help people. But as you can imagine, we are also busy and we are all professional around here. And for sure, if you post, you're gonna get answers. And I will answer, Sergio maybe, Lionel too. And at least for now, in winter, we have time to help as much as we can, okay? Very specifically, James Westies. Well, he said something contrary to the popular, not all Canadians want to hang out with Canadians. Well, I would say this is quite obviously. This is, I mean, this happens a lot, you know. When someone asks me about where Canadians, they stay here and there, I just answer to that folk. You are a different folk. So different folks, different strokes for different folks. So both are legitimate. It's fine. When I travel, honestly, I just want to immerse myself with locals too. If I see a Portuguese person, it's okay, but I'm not going there to engage with Portuguese people. And I have experience on this because I've been living about 1 year in Hamburg, and I remember there, okay, I can spend a few time with my Portuguese folks, but I want to meet other people. So I ended up meeting Germans, people from Kosovo, Kazakhstan, from Africa, from New Zealand, from Australia, Americans. Okay, so, but this is it, you know. Everyone can just share their thoughts. Everyone can make their questions, but of course, we never should take assumptions because we never know what are the other people they are thinking, and it's legit to think differently. Okay, guys, from my hand, we said a lot about the country. The Algarve, there are so many other spots. You know, I was just remember a tour I did 2 days ago with my family. So we went through Paderne, Halte, São Bartolomeu de Messinas, the Silvas Reservoir. But the thing is, I took different routes. But hey, I'm a local, I'm a hiker, I'm a cyclist. No wonder I offer off the beaten path tours. No wonder I offer these different kind of products. Of course, we share as much as we can with people, we don't share everything, and it's even impossible for people to do what we do or to know what we know, because we've been spending years and we still digging and we still uncover places. We are kind of a trailblazers. We are always trying to find different things. So, and of course, people, they book tours with us. A long time we share places here, places there, but it's impossible to answer all questions in just one chat, okay? So please post your questions and we're gonna help you, okay? That's for sure. I don't know, guys, if you wanna say something else. Well, I'm quite happy to spend this time chatting with you and engaging with our beloved guest visitors. And from my end, I think it's everything for tonight.
From my end, yep, we can wrap it up over here. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. Hope you've enjoyed the session, and wishing you all a great week ahead. And we'll be back again next week, next Monday.
Well, same from here. I just want to mention for all the people that have been joining us, and there's a lot of new members on the group. We've been posting our previous lives on YouTube, so we have a YouTube channel, Portugal Unplugged. And if you want to watch some of our earlier chats, well, they are visible over there. Unfortunately, we cannot replicate the comment section, but at least you will get some some ideas, and it might be always some interesting material for you to listen to get to know a little bit more about your future trip to Portugal. So from my end, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We had a few technical issues in the beginning. Facebook has been playing with us, but we are stubborn. So and we pretty much end up solving this. And we'll be back next week, 9:30 p.m. Lisbon time, right here at the same spot, Portugal Unplugged. Feel free to post your questions. Feel free to share the articles that you find useful. And if you really need some help in this something particular, well, ask your questions. We are here, just glad to help. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Sergio. Well, see you back next week.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.